9 justices just rewrote American law. And nobody saw it coming. The Supreme Court dropped a ruling so unprecedented that legal scholars across the country are scrambling to understand what just happened. This decision didn't just surprise the legal community. It shattered 50 years of established precedent. And by the end of this breakdown, you'll understand exactly why this ruling changes everything you thought you knew about the highest court in the land. Here's what nobody is telling you about this case. For decades, lower courts operated under one simple assumption. They believed the Supreme Court would never touch this issue. They were wrong. The case that changed everything started in a federal courtroom 3 years ago. A challenge that most lawyers dismissed as impossible somehow made its way through the appeals process. And when the Supreme Court agreed to hear it, legal experts were stunned. But the real question isn't what the court decided. It's why 5 justices chose to break with everything their predecessors established. And that answer reveals something disturbing about how our highest court actually operates. The case centered on a constitutional question that seemed settled decades ago. Lower courts had ruled the same way for years. Attorneys knew exactly how to argue these cases because the outcome was predictable. Then everything changed. The petitioners brought a new legal theory that nobody had seriously considered. Their argument was simple but devastating. They claimed the original interpretation was wrong from the start. And they had evidence to prove it. Constitutional scholars initially laughed at this approach. But something in those arguments caught the attention of at least 4 justices. That's all you need to grant certiorari. For votes to hear a case that could reshape American law forever. Now let me put this in perspective for you. Clause 2's, the Supreme Court receives over 7,000 petitions every year. They accept fewer than 100. The odds of any case reaching oral argument are astronomical. So when this case made the cut, something significant was happening behind closed doors. The justices don't explain why they take cases. But legal analysts started noticing a pattern. Several justices had written opinions questioning the old precedent. They'd been laying groundwork for years. This wasn't a sudden decision. It was a calculated strategy that finally found the right case at the right moment. And the oral arguments would prove even more explosive than anyone predicted. During oral arguments, the tension inside the courtroom was palpable. Attorneys for both sides faced aggressive questioning from the bench. But it was Justice, redacted, line of questioning that revealed everything. Their hypotheticals weren't random. Each question built toward a specific conclusion. Veteran court watchers recognized the strategy immediately. This justice was building a foundation for the majority opinion. The opposing attorneys tried to pivot. They cited decades of settled law. They warned about the chaos that overturning precedent would cause. But their arguments weren't landing. You could see it in the justices' faces. The outcome was already decided before anyone left that chamber. What nobody knew was how far the ruling would actually go. But here's where everything takes a darker turn. SFX, dramatic sound, the ruling that came down wasn't just a narrow decision on one issue. The majority went further than anyone expected. They didn't just rule on the case in front of them. They dismantled the entire legal framework that lower courts had relied on for generations. Legal experts describe it as a judicial earthquake. And the dissenting justices didn't hold back. Their written dissent ran over 40 pages. They called the majority opinion dangerous and historically unprecedented. One dissenter wrote that this decision would haunt the court for decades. The 4 justices in the minority saw something the majority didn't. And their warnings are already proving prophetic. Think about what you would do if you were an attorney right now. Clause 2's, every case you've been preparing for years just changed overnight. The legal arguments you crafted based on established precedent are now worthless. Thousands of pending cases across the country are in limbo. Lower court judges don't know how to rule anymore. Some are waiting for guidance. Others are dismissing cases entirely. The chaos the dissenting justices warned about has already begun. But the most disturbing part isn't the confusion. It's what happens next. Because this ruling opens the door for challenges that were previously unthinkable. And someone is already preparing to walk through that door. And this is where I need you to pay attention. The reason 5 justices broke with precedent comes down to one fundamental belief. They decided that the original interpretation from 50 years ago was based on flawed legal reasoning. They argued the prior court got it wrong. And according to constitutional principles, a wrong decision doesn't become right just because time passes. That's their justification. But here's what the dissent understood that the majority dismissed. Legal stability matters. People build their lives around established law. When the highest court reverses course this dramatically, it tells every American that no legal protection is permanent. Today's ruling could be tomorrow's footnote. That's not justice. That's judicial chaos disguised as constitutional purity. So where does this leave us? The Supreme Court has spoken. Lower courts will now have to navigate an entirely new legal landscape. Cases that seemed closed will be reopened. Rights that seemed protected may face new challenges. The 5 justices in the majority believe they corrected a historic wrong. The 4 in dissent believe they created a new one. History will judge which side was right. But one thing is certain. This ruling changes how every American should think about the Supreme Court. It's not just an institution that interprets law. It's an institution that can reshape it at will. And that power, whether used wisely or recklessly, affects every single one of us. Now you understand what just happened at the Supreme Court and why it matters. If this breakdown helped you see the legal system differently, subscribe for more deep dives into the cases that shape American justice. Tell me in the comments. Did this ruling surprise you? Or did you see it coming? The next case we cover might be even more controversial. Don't miss it.